The James Webb Space Telescope has found galaxies that should not exist, and the scientists who built our entire model of the universe have no explanation. Not a minor gap, not a rounding error, a full-scale crisis at the highest levels of physics. For over a century, humanity has operated on a framework called the Standard Model of Cosmology, a carefully constructed picture of how the universe was born, how it grew, and where it is heading. It was built on decades of observation, mathematical precision, and Nobel Prize-winning discoveries. And right now, in real time, that framework is cracking apart under the weight of data we were never supposed to see this early. Let's start with what broke everything. When the James Webb Space Telescope began returning images in 2022, astronomers expected to see the early universe as it should look: young, small, chaotic, filled with primitive proto-galaxies still figuring themselves out. Instead, Webb found massive, fully formed, remarkably structured galaxies existing just 300 to 500 million years after the Big Bang. One galaxy cluster discovered in 2023, cataloged under the name the Cosmic Thumbprint, showed a level of chemical maturity that our models suggest should have taken billions of years to develop. Not hundreds of millions, billions. These galaxies had already grown old before the universe was barely an infant. Astronomer Alison Kirkpatrick from the University of Kansas described the moment publicly, saying, and these are her real words, "I had a panic attack," because what Webb was showing her violated the foundational predictions her entire career was built upon. But that's just the beginning of what's collapsing. There is a number at the heart of cosmology called the Hubble constant. It measures how fast the universe is expanding. This number is so fundamental that if it's wrong, everything calculated from it, the age of the universe, the distribution of matter, the fate of everything, becomes unreliable. Here's the problem. When scientists measure the Hubble constant using the cosmic microwave background, the ancient light left over from the Big Bang, they get one number, approximately 67.4 kilometers per second per megaparsec. But when they measure it using supernovae and other local distance indicators in the nearby universe, they consistently get a different number, approximately 73 kilometers per second per megaparsec. This discrepancy is called the Hubble tension, and it has been growing sharper with every new measurement. It is now statistically significant enough that random error cannot explain it. Something is genuinely wrong, and nobody knows what. Some physicists are now proposing that dark energy, the mysterious force accelerating the universe's expansion, accounting for roughly 68% of everything that exists, may not be constant after all. In February 2024, the Dark Energy Spectroscopic Instrument, known as DESI, released its first year of data after mapping over 6 million galaxies. The findings suggested dark energy may be weakening over time. If that is confirmed, the Lambda CDM model, the gold standard of cosmology for the last 3 decades, would need to be fundamentally rewritten. Not tweaked, rewritten. And then there is what scientists call the S8 tension, a mismatch between how clumpy matter in the universe should be, according to early universe measurements, versus how clumpy it actually appears to be when we observe it directly today. The universe looks smoother than it should. Matter didn't cluster as aggressively as the models predicted. Another crack, another unexplained gap. Now stack these anomalies together, galaxies too mature too early. An expansion rate that gives 2 different answers depending on how you measure it. Dark energy that may be evolving. Matter distribution that doesn't match predictions. Each one alone could be a measurement error. All of them together, confirmed across independent instruments, independent research teams, and independent methodologies, that is not noise. That is a signal. What makes this moment so historically electric is that this has happened before. In the late 1800s, physicists believed classical mechanics had explained nearly everything. Then anomalies appeared, tiny, stubborn, unexplained data points. Those anomalies eventually forced the birth of quantum mechanics and relativity, 2 revolutions that completely restructured human understanding of reality. What we are watching right now with cosmology has that same signature energy, the smell of a paradigm about to break. The universe is not malfunctioning. Our map of it is. And that map has been the foundation for how we understand time, space, matter, and the origin of everything, including ourselves. The James Webb Space Telescope was built to look further back in time than any instrument in human history. And what it found was not confirmation. It found contradiction. Scientists are not panicking in hallways and giving up. The more accurate picture is this. The brightest minds on Earth are experiencing the rare, terrifying, and deeply exciting sensation of being fundamentally wrong about something enormous. And in science, being wrong at that scale is not defeat. It is the doorway to the next revolution. We are standing at that door right now, and nobody knows what's on the other side. Here is the question I want you to sit with. If the universe is older, stranger, or structured completely differently than we currently believe, what does that do to every answer humanity thought it had about where we came from and why anything exists at all? Follow for more science that quietly changes how you see everything.